and see what's in there. I'm afraid I'm not that good of a telepath.
Yeah, and you know what? Probably Farsier also said, because you asked like how much. And Farsier also added like trying to be in like mysterious stuff. Oh, I believe Benjamin learned a lot of information that will be beneficial for all parties included, and then you can make easy awareness test. The sports center part of the wall of writings.
Oh, what are we seeing?
Okay, so you see not a mural, but a picture. Not a picture, but you know, like a somebody with a pencil or whatever just made a fuck's sake piece of art, more or less, or like artistic interpretation, and and for that I would also require one more roll, which would be Xenos or Demonology, Demonology or both.
With kind of a minus.
For now, roll with flat. If you decide that this piece of information would incur minuses, then we can go with that later. We can include them later.
Xenosy. Pretty sure even at a -60 we'd all pass.
Okay, what you see is the picture of, at first, two entities. First is in sort of like a birded cage, but larger, and the entity inside is just inhumanly beautiful. You think female, and you are pretty sure it's a female. Inhumanly beautiful female. Obviously, like not naked, just like clad in some basic rooked clothing. That with those checks you can. That she, although she kinda looks more elder than human, and she definitely looks more than a human, and the creature more fatter. That's standing not guard outside, but just looking at her is obviously it looks like a demonic creature, and then you just like it clicks and you realize that the other creature is Nurgle himself.
Oh dear, it's Nurgle and Isha. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm. And I know who Isha is.
Pretty sure with a 6.1, I know that too. So, gonna go.
So, query: why exactly? Well, you're rather well done, by the way. Very nice. Of Isha and the Great Unclean One.
Very good.
Sorry, what was the question? Like, what do you mean by this question?
Why draw the mural of Isha and this Great Unclean and the Great Unclean One, I suppose?
Yeah, as I mentioned previously, Noble Jow. I saw things, I remembered them, and I decided to put them into paper so that I and the others won't forget them. And seeing in the past where Goddess herself is, it opens many interesting chances for the future.
I suppose so, with a glance at the Farseer.
Yeah, Farseer just like has like her lips are slightly twitched upwards. Now you probably fully understand why my dear Exarch said that the Seer Council of Ulfa decreed this one Benjamin Alava vital, or however I used when Exarch said that.
This is probably going to be one of those things that none of us ever talk about outside of this room. I don't even want to know the lengths that the Ordo of Xenos would go for this.
And then she adds, oh, obviously this is one of the many things. And Benjamin, oh yes, obviously, my travels into the past were far
I know
large, so
exactly.
to speak. War in Heavens, Necronter, Ctan, Old Ones, it was very interesting. Especially since you kinda realize that how warp changed over 60 million years. To think and so that once Realm of Souls was really peaceful, it really opens your eyes.
Actually, I'm curious. What?
How do you have Forbidden Lore Order Xenos?
Forbidden Lore Mastery. If it says Forbidden Lore, I have it. How do you have Ordo Xenos?
Because I'm a xenologist. It's the only time that it ever comes up.
Eh. I have the mastery over Forbidden Lore. I know everything.
I don't know if that works exactly like that, but okay.
It says I get every Forbidden Lore thingy in my body.
And you get pluses to every lore.
You get plus 20 to all of them.
But Sigmund is quiet. Is he just looking at this okay? Are you perhaps looking at the wall trying to find something regarding Messiah, Void Dragon, or are you ignoring it completely? Demko? Hello?
No.
Yeah, I'm here.
Demko's dead.
I'm back. My internet connection's being weird for some reason.
Darn it. I mean, welcome back, Demko.
Yeah, I was just wondering because we were quiet for a long time, so I was wondering how Sigmund
No, I'm here. I'm just kind of
takes
cutting in
the
and out,
entire
unfortunately.
situation, or is he just slightly interested in...
He's listening, but he doesn't like aliens, so he doesn't have a lot to say. He's keeping his mouth shut.
Okay, to be fair, if you're already subjecting Benjamin as an alien, then yeah, it might work, even though physically, if somebody scans him, he's still pure human.
I thought we were still with the Eldar.
We are.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, Benjamin isn't. Well, certainly been quite an eventful reunion.
Indeed.
Is that all we're here for?
Oh, of course not.
Even if it had been. Even if it had been, this was most intriguing. But please, continue.
And then she first she apart from reunion, should something pique your interest? If Benjamin remembers it, then he would give a certain answer. Forgotten artifacts? Lost Primarchs? For those who see in the past, they offer quite an amount of options.
Oh, all of the questions that could ask. We can literally be here for a few years.
Ooh.
Indeed, but perhaps I would also came to inform you about two other things. One, obviously, should you would want, for now we agreed with Mr. Alava that he would stay with my retinue as we will travel to our craft world to discuss more about matters and as a race decide what should we do with his knowledge to finally strike back at the great enemy. And besides that, we will also move forward with our alliance. If you remember, Interrogator, I mentioned a chance of Commander Farsight perhaps
Yes,
being
I remember.
convinced of cooperation in common goals that perhaps in a few months' time can be arranged, especially since Benjamin here will be able to provide interesting information to dear Commander.
Hold it.
And yeah, obviously Benjamin also in the past learned about true nature of artifact that Farsight has.
Farsight, but the only Tau who specializes in melee weapons. I think I might like an alliance with that one.
Seeing that he rebelled against Tau elders and forgotten the path of so-called greater good, then I believe he might be reasonable enough.
Anyone who's willing to stand against the majority of their own people in terms of opinion, definitely someone I would like to have an alliance with. So, or rather, yes, I believe he is more reasonable, or I believe he is reasonable enough to be spoken to at any rate.
And yeah, somebody wanted to ask something? Or the jaw was rolling for just sake of it?
Oh no, she's kind of considering. It's something that will come up later.
But before we continue this discussion on the Tau, Benjamin, a thought occurs to me. You know much. What became of Maribus?
I must say I mostly indulge myself with past, but also with present. Although I strictly avoided, or it was limited, to not see into future. It was either impossible or would be extremely dangerous. Even for me.
It's not the future I'm concerned with. I'm just curious to know if whatever, survived, and if it's still out there in the greater Imperium.
Seeing in the past as his plans formed, I more or less believe that the one who was called Marawas shed his skin, abandoned his former master, and decided to be master of his own fate.
Hold it.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not Mal because I'm still toying with the idea, should I make him Mal or not, if I like this idea. So, yeah, not deciding that now.
Actually, I'm not entirely sure that would have even called for a roll. Has anything like that ever even happened before? Of a demon shedding their skin, as you say, casting off their shackles?
And doing what?
I mean, is there ever been a case of that
There are no
happening before?
unaligned demons, so no.
Okay. There wasn't a real
Demons
point.
are bound to their god.
Okay, then
They can
that
try to
probably
replace their god. I mean, there's
Yeah.
several demons that are scheming to replace either Korn or Nurgle or Tzeentch or
Yeah.
whatnot, but they're also considered aspects of their god. So it's like a part. It's like, in a sense, there's almost a monism about the warp, insofar that at some level there is only kind of one entity, and it's just fragmented.
Actually, I take that back. Doombreed might be on a line, but Doombreed is also really, really old.
I have no idea who that is. So, I didn't think it was possible for a demon to cast away their
Doombreed
master.
Korn.
I thought they were
Or is it
part
Makar
of
who's
their
on the
master.
line?
How did Maribus
Yeah, it's
do
Makar who's on the
this?
line.
And what happens, or rather, how did he do this, and what becomes of him now that he's cast off the shackles of Tzeentch?
And Be'lakor.
Benjamin Shax, as I saw him forming his plans, apart from pretty clear and cliche revenge at Calixto and Conclave for stealing him, his intelligence made him realize the true nature of great game that Chaos Forces do, and that in fact at least two Chaos Gods do not want the war with Imperium to end. Hell, they don't even want Chaos to win, to be honest. It's about fighting, not winning, after.
Those two would be Tzeentch and Korn, I take it.
At the very least.
I would never have thought of that, but it makes sense. For Tzeentch, the fun would be in the scheming, and for Korn, it would be in the warfare. And if we happen to lose, both of those things would cease. Interesting.
One of the things that the past that can you learn, if Chaos wins, and he strikes Chaos, Immaterium is only logical.
Chaotic.
It's only logical. If everything dies with Chaos winning, then Immaterium and Warp will not have anything to be imprinted on.
Out of character, they're not interested in... Chaos isn't interested in killing everything. They're interested in enslaving Galaxy so that they can perpetuate their aspects.
Well, I guess at the very least...
Out of character, on one hand, yes, but demons do not know the meaning of restraint, especially Slaaneshi and Khornites. So when they conquer the galaxy and then they realize, well, shit, we can still fight well against one another. So my headcanon is that when they conquer the galaxy many ages later, like, they just fucking die after many, like, fighting with one another. Because Khorne is about fighting and he doesn't mean restraint, so he will find enemies. But yeah, Benjamin is like, yeah, more or less if... wait, what I was trying to say in character? Okay, so that's what he said, more or less. Yeah, Chaos Gods. Also interesting that, sure, they are all bad and great enemy and whatnot, but it was surprising to learn that they have more purviews. I mean, I don't know if you want that, if you wanna know. And he like stops for a moment. Or no, sorry, he's like in full like train of thought mode, so he wouldn't even ask. So, like, you know, for example, Nurgle, purview of evolution, if I remember correctly, out of character. Who had purview of hope?
Who had what?
Yeah, that was...
Tzeentch.
Yeah. No. Evolution is Tzeentch. Hope is
Evolution is
Nurgle.
Nurgle is despair. Hope is Tzeentch. Hope and change.
Yeah, so he throws
Hence the hope and change
that examples.
Tzeentch joke.
Nurgle was endurance. Wow. Corner's strength.
Oh, hope and despair are opposites. Nurgle's about giving up and accepting death and therefore circumventing it. Tzeentch is about not accepting death and therefore getting around it.
Yeah.
Hence why they don't like each other.
So yeah, basically, I could just go on, and Benjamin could have like dropping bombshells and bombshells, including the one that it's really amusing to know that the one who proclaimed Gant Emperor as a, well, god, which I agree completely, like no mortal could have enough raw power to act as a astronomican for entire Imperium. So indeed, God the Bromide is indeed a god. And it was like, for him it's really amusing that Lorgar, the one who proclaimed Lectico Divinatus, was the second to fall, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was
He's
Horus.
the first.
I mean,
Primarch to fall.
you don't count Horus as a first. It's just like an Archtraitor, and then Lorgar is the first one to fall.
Horus is the Archtraitor because he was the most important one to fall. But the first ones to fall were the Word Bearers. They fell close to 200 years before the Horus Heresy happened. They built three battle barges in preparation for the Heresy.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, really, Benjamin can go on unless you ask him about something specific. And in the meantime, probably one of the servants bring something to drink. Although Benjamin really doesn't require drink, he probably drinks for taste. And yeah, if it comes, then he can say that in character, but out of character, yeah, he also knows like the origin and reason why Horus fell in the first place. At least according to Vicky, it was basically Emperor was working on secret webway project, and Horus felt that even though he's a Primarch and his favorite son, he felt that his dad wasn't trusting him enough. More or less how that's the short story. But yeah, I'm just going on fucking autopilot now that that's almost 4:45 a.m.
We can stop if it's too late for you.
Yeah, I mean, in this scene, unless you want something specific, nothing more will happen. It just you realize that if you don't kill him, then you have if you find a way to kill him, then you have a very valuable asset with no that can be used for your own objectives. And that suddenly became he's not Eldritch Abomination, but he's like young body but very old soul, because he spent a long time traveling the world. It wasn't like when he was seeing the past, it wasn't like a quick movie. It was like seeing through like as a like observer, side observer, just watching events unfold day by day, second by second, hour by hour.
Good God. So he's millions of years old in that sense?
Yeah.
Okay then. I'm sure he's gone insane and come back to sanity 12,000 times over. Now he is something that exists between sanity and insanity.
Yeah, it's like obviously even if he's not obviously seeing the past would give him some corruption, but seeing Realm of Souls before all of that fuck up, also gave him peace and uncorruption. So, yeah, those things kinda equal one another.
Goodness. I desperately want Xanthus to just sit down and be like, well, tell me everything. Let's go. I want to know everything. But that would take years. That would take very many years.
But yeah,
So-
sooner or later he will know and can explain the beginnings of Adeptus Sororitas, Astartes, Adeptus Mechanicus, how Imperium came to be. Although probably even for him it will be impossible to say about origin of Emperor because of Emperor's divinity. This will be one of the exceptions.
Also, I imagine things towards the War in Heaven probably a little bit too. I mean, there wasn't any real creatures in the warp at that period, so
The warp was so stable back then that they could literally build inside of it, hence the webway.
Interesting.
That's where the webway comes from.
So that's probably outside of his reach of vision, but still interesting.
But
You know,
unless
actually,
you be asking about something specific, then flash forward that pleasantries and whatnot, or unless asking for favor and then you will just part.
Ja's just going to try to be as charming as possible to facilitate our continued cooperation.
I'm probably going to. I'll ask questions later because it's already late for you, and I don't want to spend the next 2 hours of your
Unless
time
Sigmund is
answering
talked to,
questions.
he's not going to say anything.
Oh yes, Xanthus has questions, but questions can wait for another time. Let's continue.
I mean, if we're going back to the ship after this.
Yeah, you probably will. Or
Okay.
you more or less have to. Because on Scintilla and they will be going back to Craft World. Besides, John already is just fucking waiting, so...
Well, one thing that Ja will say on the way back to our ship, not when we're still on theirs, but when we're quite away, is... Interrogator, are you familiar with the Fate Weaver?
Am I familiar with the Fate Weaver, you say?
Mm-hmm.
So, out of character, before I see if Xanthus knows what that is, what is that?
The Fate Weaver is okay. So inside the warp, there is the so-called center, the heart of the warp, where everything. If you go inside there, you'd be able to know everything about everything that ever existed, ever, back, future, past, present, everything. It's so large and so powerful. When Tzeentch found it and built his crystal palace around it, he didn't try to use it. He instead sent 2 of his lords of change to go in there just
Well, actually,
in
he
case.
sent a lot of people in there.
Yeah. Well, he sent a lot, and most didn't come back. 2 did. More accurately, 1 did. That was 2 of them come together, and they each know all things, but each head of this very specific Lord of Change lies. When then one tells the truth. So it's hard sometimes to get, an understanding. But effectively, it is the Oracle of Tzeentch. It knows literally everything. So that's what he's asking if you are familiar with.
I just rolled that without any of his bonuses. Should I have put
Yeah,
instead of it a negative?
unless you have conditioned intellect, you probably wouldn't get it.
He does have conditioned intellect.
Possibly then.
Conditioned intellect, unnatural intelligence, and he has warp at plus 20, so you do with that what you will.
This wouldn't be warp, this would be demonology.
Okay. One, 2. What kind of negative do you think that would be at Dimco?
It'd be hard, so at least...
Yeah, this would be at
30.
least negative 30, if not higher.
All right, so a natural intellect booster takes away from the difficulty one step. What does that make it? Negative
it's
20 or
20.
negative? Okay. I know that some of them like skip, and I don't remember which ones skip and which ones don't. So that and that, all things considered, it'd be negative 10, so cool. Yay!
So you are
I am
familiar.
aware. I'm familiar with the concept of the Fate Weaver, yes.
And the other
Mm.
effectively have one now in Benjamin. This is an excellent resource, though I think it behooves us to start considering how to remove him from them. And if we cannot secure him for ourselves, find a way to destroy that.
Oh, yes, I was. Please tell me we're speaking in some kind of code.
Oh, I'll
tongue.
go into Secret Tongue Throne Agent.
Yeah, let's not give away all of our secrets right in the middle of their ship.
Oh, no. This is not on their ship. This is after we have left the Eldar ship.
Oh, I thought you said this was when we were
I'm
walking
not saying any of this on the. I'm saying this on flight back to our ship when we are well away from theirs.
Oh, okay. I literally thought we were having this discussion in their hallway. I'm like, oh my god, I agree with you, but I'm going to hurt you. No. But
That's foolish.
In that case, Xanthus says, unfortunately, I had the same thought. As much as I like the Eldar, they have a font of infinite knowledge concerning all subjects, including the Imperium. That's dangerous.
Whatever their faults or virtues, it still doesn't change the fact that at the end of all things, we really need to be the one who wins.
Indeed.
Therefore, by your leave, I'll start thinking about ways to kill someone who can't be killed.
Yes, please do. And even if we can't kill him, well, there's always a no box.
Ever so. Wonderful. That's the only thing I had separate. Out of character.
Okay.
I had hoped that he was a mere perpetual, but I see that was a vain hope.
Yeah, to be honest, he's not Oracle of nor he's Fate Weaver.
No, but he's close enough that they need to not have that. That's something that the Imperium and the Inquisition could use, or no one. But for the now, they can keep him. Mostly because we can't take them from him, and it would be more trouble than it's worth to abrogate the alliance at this stage.
No worries, they will milk him for what it's worth.
I'm sure they will.
To be honest, it might not be about Imperium, but now that Far's here, oh, this will be excellent power play. Now she'll be fucking loved at her craft world. When she brings someone who knows how to serve their most beloved goddess.
Which reminds me, I'm surprised that she didn't say anything about like, oh, we need you to help us with getting our goddess back or something.
Well, I'm sure that'll come up.
Fair point.
Although rescuing an Eldar goddess from the clutches of a chaos god in the center of his garden.
Hey, it could be fun.
Sounds like something for Ascension agents.
You gotta get into the warp. You gotta get to his section. You gotta get through his section. Hope he's not there.
All the
He's
while,
never not there.
His most dangerous creations are just kind of in the air around.
Well, according to the book of whatever the fuck it's called, sometimes he does go strolling around.
Sometimes. So let's hope we pick one of those single day out of the year.
He goes on a constitutional.
Hey,
John, are you here? You're extremely quiet.
Well, I don't hear him snoring.
Yeah, he can't be asleep.
He
Well-
might have muted him. Oh,
He's not
There you
muted
go.
on
Or
this
his
phone.
Discord work
Oh.
badly once again. Anyways,
If
that should, when you part ways,
You're tired. You should get
Yeah,
back.
I'm here. I'm fine.
when you part ways, you just get 500 XP. We're gonna deal with Scintilla next time, and I'm gonna.
If we are ending, there is going to be one.
What?
I will go. Well, Ja will go down to the brig with a tray of food from the galley.
Okay.
I thought you could use something a little bit more. Well, shall we say, not brig food. You are still the throne agent after all, at least until this remains. He will say from the door.
Response B. And you want nothing in return?
No. I'll see you a little bit later. And door will close. By the way, turns out Benjamin's alive. Make that for what you want. Goodbye.
The tray of sustenance you hear clattered to the ground. Someone's shocked.
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, and with that, we're gonna call it a day.